You're watching Taste the Victory.
Hey guys, welcome back to Taste of Victory. We got a crazy list for you today. This is Philip with a second place regional Beelstarmon deck profile. So this was the Thursday Ohio regional that just passed recently, and this was a second place crazy list with some awesome text. You want to go ahead, give yourself a short introduction, and then go through your list, Philip?
Yep, so like he said, my name is Philip. I just brought Beelstar in because I thought it was a good meta call going into the tournament. So just to start things off, let's go with the eggs first. So we start with 4 Demimeras and then 1 Pagu. So just basic 5 eggs. You just want 5 eggs because you're usually just shoving in rookies, pushing it up, and just being aggressive because this is more of a aggro playstyle. Next, we just play 4 Gabumons. Good cycle card. You know, I don't see why you wouldn't play this in Beelstar. We'll play 4 Gazis. Unfortunately, I borrowed Gazis from friends, so I just don't have them on me. I gave them back to them after the event, but the list did play 4 during the event. 2 Dracmon, good card to keep cycling, reuse. Honestly, pretty nice right now, just because like Recycle Calling and Deathclaw sets up a lot of plays for like future turns.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 1 of Itmon, honestly, cuttable. It's just there. Another rookie will be good. Other rookies I was considering is probably like Elecmon, just to clear out Psychmons. Even playing your own Psychmon might be okay, just to deny Stingmons or possible Beelstar mirrors, just because I feel like more people are gonna start playing this deck now. For level 4s, 4 Eismons, Scatter Mode, obviously one of the best purple cards.
Cool.
2 promotes for ways for you to end the game off Nailbone. 1 blocker and 1 at the Eismon, obviously because it's 1 of. Alright, so that's it for the 3s and 4s. We'll go straight to the 6s. Obviously just the 4 Beelstars. People have been saying, after the event at least, Vengekidmon as a pretty decent tech card now. Just because more people might be playing Beelstars than they denied their Beelstar. Pop something. Also just preventing deck out sometimes could be kind of nice. Mm-hmm. Extra body on board they got to deal with. It's, I don't know, even decks that like Yellow Hybrid recently started playing that card, even though they weren't probably expecting Beelstar. I think Vengekidmon's just going to start showing up more, so another level 6 to consider, probably 1 of in this deck if anything. Mm-hmm. We do play 2 Zwarts. It never really came to like from security that often when I was playing on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Most of the time it's going to be in your hand and you just deny Tamers. I think 1 just might be just 1 is fine. I think the other one's cuttable since it never came up security, and when you have it in your hand, just nice. Now we go for options. We do play 14 of the 7 costs. So start things off, the important ones. 4 Fly Bullet and 4 Kakaitis. I think these are your like main removals in a deck. Kakaitis just because you have to tech cards for antibody matchup at this point. Even if you don't plan to see it, it's still a generic good removal. And if you do to see antibody, you're kind of prepared for it. 2 Showers, 2 Nailbone, 1 Howling Crusher, also for antibody, and 1 Schwarmer. Should be 14 total. Everything else, I think you could kind of mix around the ratios. This card never really came up as well, possibly cuttable, but it's for the very niche scenario. It does come up. For our other options, we played 2 Mist Memory Boosts, 2 Deathclaws, 3 Callings. The Mist Memory Boost, I've not liked it in this deck list. It's just a nice card effect on paper. You mill 2, you draw 1. It sounds pretty good. Yeah. But a lot of times because you're an aggro playstyle, sometimes I run my rookie in or run the Eismon in. I have like no purple source to play an actual purple option. So I would rather much change it with like maybe another analog or another rookie or something like that. The only time this was good is when it came out security for an extra 2 memory. So sometimes a little awkward, but yeah. 3 Calling, probably MVP card deck, and then 2 Deathclaws removal. Could be a third. You could probably fit a third one somewhere, but that's what I ran for Thursday. Tamers, only 2 TKs and 2 analogs. The TKs could be the mat from the first set. It's just your memory tamer in the deck. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what it is. You just need some type of blue just to play your Kakaitis Breath. when you play the Beelstar because you can't activate for free, or you activate for free, but you still need a blue source on board somewhere. So that's where these come in, and then analog just because analog cheap to play, mills, and grabs cards. So that runs through the whole deck profile. Are there any questions about any tech choices or any card choices?
What would you cut Howling Crusher for? Since you said it was kind of not performing that well.
Honestly, I was debating about cutting 1 and 1. This doesn't come up that often, but it's a nice removal. A third nail bone would have been nice. I played Lewis on Thursday at one of my rounds, and like both my nail bones were like the bottom 4 cards of my deck. If I had nail bone at any point in the game, I probably could have set up a way to win.
Oh, nice.
Just
yeah.
maybe a third one would have been okay, just to see it more often. But like I haven't had a problem with just 2 most of the time. But a third nail bone could just fit the slot. Maybe even just a Death Claw. Having a Death Claw is just to like remove bodies on board. It's kind of nice. Pop your own Eismon comes up a lot. Death Claws and Calling, popping your own Eismon comes up so often actually. So
yeah, I've seen that come up a lot when helping people test out for sure. It's a really good combo. Cool. So, if from what you can remember, as much as you can remember, what were your matchups throughout the regional, and what was the good ones? What was the bad ones?
So I think Beelstar's good against most meta decks and bad against most non-meta decks, at least the way this one's built. First round, I played against Mastamon. Mastamon just gives you a lot of time to set up. You don't really care what they have on board. Usually your board is gone, so their Mastamon doesn't get much value off it. Just ran through them like an aggro deck. Eventually was able to set up like a huge nailbone play just to like end the game. Round 2, I played against Imperial. Imperial probably would be the only meta deck that's kind of scary just because they could potentially outrace you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty coin flip matchup. The only way you slow down Imperial is if there's a removal option in your security. And then if they check something to remove like the Paidramon or XVmon to give you time, you pretty much just win afterwards. So it literally depends on the 5 cards in your security in that matchup. If you have something, you probably just run through them later. If you don't have something, they'll just eat through you. Round 3, I played against X Antibody. The Kakaitis Breath, obviously MVP, came up a lot. They checked Kakaitis Breath sometimes when attacking and just bounced their stack. Just won right after that. The Howling Crushers never came up. It is there in that niche scenario where, let's say, they played Breath of the Gods, and you can't Kakaitis them anymore. If you have access to the Howling Crusher, at least just removing all the sources off it can buy you some time. And XNT without sources, pretty much can't do much. Round 4, I played against another Imperial, or that might be 5. No, round 4 was Lewis. Lewis, as in Lewis the Panda, he brought in a blue Metal Garurumon deck. Something you don't typically see. We were undefeated at that time, so it kind of surprised me. He is a good player, so it wouldn't surprise me, when I matched up against him, I see him, but then I just didn't expect his deck choice. I heard that he was playing that deck since the release of BT8. He ate through me game 1, just didn't know what the deck did too much. He like swarmed the field, gained a bunch of memory off the Metal Garurumons. Game 2, I won because I was able to deny him with like Gazis. He played Memory Boost and Heimer Sparks. Game 3 was the unfortunate one where I didn't see a Nailbone the whole game. And then I pretty much got decked out. And he just outgrinded me there. So he took that one. My only loss in Swiss. Round 5 was Imperial. Coin flip. Round 6 was Yellow Hybrid. Yellow Hybrid, in my opinion, is actually kind of easy in this deck. Just because you're the aggro deck. You just swing. You set up your board. The only board clear is Rapidmon, but if your stuff is gone, they can't clear anything. Or you set up a turn where you could just Beelstar, get promote, swing, and then they can't really do too much. The only scary part about Yellow Hybrid is if you check TK Kari, just because the more memory they have, the more they could do.
Yeah, Kari's the worst. Hate it.
Yeah, so I think one game that I actually lost against Yellow Hybrid was game 1 where first swing hit TK Kari, then they played another TK Kari right afterwards. Just couldn't do much when they got like 7 memory every turn. They just like hybrid meet for game over time. And I think we actually ended in 6 rounds of Swiss because of all the ties. Only about like 110-ish players. So got top 8 with that, and then there was top 8 playoffs at the event. So in top 8 we played. Can't remember. I really can't remember.
That's all right. Do you remember the rest of them?
Yeah. So top 4 I played against Yellow Hybrid. Same strategy, just shoot at them, and then they can't do too much. In the top 4 deck, he did play Purple Kari. Didn't really slow me down too much. He had to cut Tiki Karis from his deck to play Purple Kari, so wasn't too scared. The final match was another Yellow Hybrid, but it's the weird Shaco Angemon text in them. So it wasn't your standard Yellow Hybrid, but it played mostly Yellow Hybrid package. Game 1, 8 through him. Game 2 and 3, I actually bricked to unplayable hands all 7 cost options and Beelstars. Pretty much had to pass almost every turn, and he just won both games that way. It can happen in this deck, obviously. It took all the way up to like the finals for it to happen, and it's unfortunate that it happened during the finals, but it just be like that. Yeah, I think it might be a playstyle thing though. I definitely would recommend trying to be as aggro as possible. Sometimes, depending on the deck, I wouldn't always pop the Eismon when you get the chance. Like, let's say if you do have the Calling or the Deathclaw, I would only pop it if my hands are really, really bad, and then I need to cycle. But if my hand was like okay for the next turn or something, I will leave it on board because like it's always gonna be another check. And most people don't want to kill your Eismon because they were like, oh, I don't want you to draw cards and discard cards to fill up your security or your hand or your trash so you can play Beelstar earlier. But it doesn't really matter to you. You just swing again next turn, and then they're like one less security.
Yeah.
And then you just chip them down and win.
Yeah, people respect the card too much.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. Thank you for sharing it with us. Like, it does seem like it has an answer to a lot of stuff and is a great meta call. Definitely makes sense after hearing all your in-depth explanation of it. Congrats again then, Philip, on your amazing placements. I hope you keep having success with this deck in the future. Thanks for coming on the channel. Is there anything you want to plug while you're here?
I do want to shout out my friend who gave me a basic deck list at first, because like I took most of the cards from his deck list. I picked up the Beelstars right before the event and asked him, hey, you have a basic list I could just take a look at? He provided me most of the cards on this list. I just made a few tweaks, and he took the list from Ying or Human. So obviously great deck builder, great player.
Yeah,
I took it from him, ran it with success, but definitely the deck, can make changes, can be better. The only thing is I would just be wary of like the more possible techs now, because more people are starting to run Avenge Kidmon and maybe tech more Psychmons or something. But yeah, I think this deck is to be reckoned with, this format.
For sure. Definitely sounds like it after this profile. Well, congrats again. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you guys in the next video.